Previously on Bleach. Alright, Orihime, here we go, the final battle.
Well, do you have everything ready, Ichigo?
Don't worry, I got a checklist. Let's see here. Cool swords, check and check. Killer threads, I don't mean to toot my own horn, but check. Let's see, motivation. Mommy, why don't you get up, Mommy? Let's go home. Daddy's making dinner. Come on, Mommy. You okay? Yeah, check. And, let's see, battle strategy.
Getsuga Tensho.
Getsuga motherfucking Tensho. Alright, let's go. Hey everybody, Tekking101 here, here to review Bleach chapter number 673. It's been like forever, isn't it? I mean, I know it's only been like 10 days or some shit, but it feels like way longer than that. I don't know. Been pretty busy the past few days. Maybe that has something to do with it. Anyway, let's get right to it. The chapter is titled, Father. I'm only gonna make one Empire joke. Just one, okay? Don't worry about it. Alright, so chapter starts off with Rukia and Renji playing leapfrog together, I guess, as they jump up on top of some rubble, which is immediately destroyed by the onslaught of light rain coming from the sky. Gerard Valkyrie reforming himself. The light is like causing physical damage to things. It's weird. It's more similar to how something like Lilia would do, you know? Like every time that Gerard, you know, he got part of his body cut off, like he got his arm cut off and it would reform with light, and then he got it cut in half and it reformed with light, but in this case it's completely different. Like the light is like coming down from the sky, like raining down on everybody, and it's like making his new, more godly form or whatever. Rukia and Renji are pretty much completely aghast by this. Wait, whoa. I'm sorry, where the fuck have you guys been? Like, Rukia, I love you, girl, but what have you been doing for like the past 20 chapters? Like, okay, it was Shinji, Momo, Rukia, and Renji, and Byakuya who had their initial fight against Gerard, and then he went into his god size, and he, like, wrecked the whole place, and everything was knocked down, and then we kind of cut away from him for a while, and then after we cut back, it was just, Byakuya kind of doing his thing, and Shinji, Momo, Rukia, and Renji were nowhere to be found, and then eventually Toshiro showed up, and then Kenpachi, so it's like, like, they just pop up out of the rubble here. I'm like, were you guys buried under, like, massive amounts of rubble for the past 20 chapters or something, and now you're just clawing your way back out? I mean, maybe they got knocked out or something? I just assumed they were like, okay, Byakuya was like, alright, I'll hold this guy off, you go help Ichigo, you know, and they headed out. I mean, we don't know where any of them were. But, yeah, Rukia and Renji are still on the battlefield. We don't know where Shinji and Momo are. They might be unconscious or dead, I don't know. And hey, better question, where is Soifone and Almeida? Okay, I'm just kidding. I don't give a shit about Soifone. Almeida? Yeah, alright. Alright, let's see if Almeida's still alive. Soifone could have fallen off the side of the bar belt. I don't give a fuck. Anyway, yeah, so Gerard is making his new form. I thought it was going to be like in the middle of a transformation thing. It seems to have maintained the same appearance it did last time we saw it in the previous chapter. He doesn't really have much of a face anymore. It's just like a helmet and, you know, fiery, you know, wisps are coming off the side of it. Sort of like a gladiatorial helm. And he just has the lines running down his body. He doesn't speak or say anything like that. He's just like this massive light energy at this point. So I'm going to assume he has similar powers to Lilia. I mean, the light that's raining down is causing physical injury to everybody, just as Lilia's, you know, his laser attacks are like Trompete did, so I'm going to assume it's the same basic gist of it. In which case, they're in for a pretty damn tough fight, because it took Shunsui and Nanao pretty much all they had to defeat Lilia. Lilia's not even dead, he's still alive, and keep in mind, they actually had a weapon that was specifically designed to battle against creatures that were made of light. It reflected the light back. So, I mean, it's not like Nanao is still around and she can show up with Shinken Hakyoken and defeat Gerard. Okay, that makes massive amounts of sense, but that's probably why Kubo's not going to go that route with it. Especially for the fact that, hey, Lilio was pretty powerful, but he was still essentially human-sized, sort of. You know, Gerard is the size of Mount Everest. So, I don't maybe Shinken Hakyoken might help out too much. A lot of people have been saying, and I said this as a joke a while back, but it would be fucking hilarious, is if this is really a thing where, like, everybody, all the remaining survivors in the Varveld, except for, like, Ichigo and Orihime, of course, have to band together and fight against Gerard. If out of everybody that's left, Hanataro shows up, and he uses his Hisagumaru's power to heal Gerard, which actually reverses the Miracle's power. I mean, that would be completely insane, but you have to consider he brought Hanataro for a reason. Now, the only reason I'm kind of remiss to say this is what Kubo's planning is because, remember Hueco Mundo? Hanataro went to Hueco Mundo with Byakuya too, and what did he contribute in that arc? He served as an example to being cut down by Rukia, who was being manipulated by Zomori. That was, like, all he contributed. You know, he didn't even, you know, you might say, oh, he was the healer. Well, he didn't even be able to heal. He had to be healed by Isane in that arc. So, you know, Hanataro is still stalking around. Yeah, but we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. Anyway, we see that Toshiro is still managing to stand up. He's not completely knocked out yet. He actually seems to have recovered a little bit, because at the end of last chapter, he was looking rough, like really beaten down, and bags under his eyes. He was gasping. Here he seems like pretty cool. He's, you know, standing on a piece of rubble. He's not in his Bankai anymore, probably. I don't know, but he seems like he's all right, decently. Shouts over to Rukia and Renji like, oh, hey guys, you still alive? That's cool. You might want to be a little bit careful for the giant man-sized mountain skulking around made of light that can literally kill and not be defeated by anything that we've tried yet. You might want to tread a little bit carefully there. They don't really take this warning too seriously, though, because they're more confused by who they're exactly speaking with right now, because they don't recognize Toshiro in his adult state. Well, at least Renji doesn't anyway, and let's be honest here, Renji is, you know, a couple of Togashi's short of chapter releases, so, you know, he's not really connecting the dots here. Rukia, on the other hand, she's figured this shit out. Well, obviously, you idiot, his voice should be a dead giveaway. He's Itsugaya's older brother. Oh, yeah, sure, man, I didn't recognize him at first. Hey, thank you for keeping track of your little brother. He's been kind of a pain in the ass. I mean, he's been a great captain. And Toshiro's reaction, we don't really get to see it. It would be kind of funny what his facial expression is, but Byakuya is just kind of looking over at him and he's like, they're not even really going to try to think about this, really. I mean, it's pretty obvious, I would say. Well, anyway, Toshiro's brother, do you have a plan on taking this guy out? Well, yeah, of course I do. We're the leading members of the Gote 13, after all. We know exactly what we're doing. I have no fucking idea what I'm doing. Okay, Brain, we need to figure out a strategy quick. Go! You know what? Personally, I feel like we should take this guy out by ourselves. I don't want all those other guys taking the credit. But we already went into Bankai. We're exhausted. We should just go off and hide, find a nice cool place to take a nap. You know what, guys? I think we should finally tell Byakuya how we feel. Oh, that would be a great idea. And then maybe we can go talk to Gerard and maybe we can sort out our differences without fighting. I think we should freeze him solid and then break him into 1,000 pieces. But we already tried that and it didn't do anything. Yeah, but we weren't just using enough ice. He's made out of light, you idiot. You can't freeze light. Well, actually, I think you're just being a little bit too pessimistic there. Anyway, everybody gets kind of distracted by Gerard. I want you to think about that for a second. Giant creature raining down light on everybody, and they managed to get distracted by that with a huge influx of Ichigo's Ryatsu. So, I'm not saying that as a joke. I'm stating, like, how overpowering Ichigo's Ryatsu has to be from way up on top of the Silburn of the Warvelt in order for them to feel it so intensely that they'll actually take their minds off the giant guy that's stomping around killing everyone. It's pretty impressive. This feeling, do you know what it is, Renji? Yeah, I know exactly what it is. This sensation. This is Ichigo's theme song. Oh, man, why does he get such a cool theme song? I want a cool theme song. I went into Bankai. Maybe when the anime comes back, you'll get something. Yeah, well, we can all hope. Alright, so we get the title page of the chapter, then we cut over to Yhwach's throne room for the epic confrontation between Ichigo and Orihime, staring down Yhwach Bach. Oh yes, welcome my child. Please pick up some punch and some delicious muffins from the snack bar, and then draw your blade to face me. Yhwach brings up the fact that Ichigo has left himself full of openings, and especially since the fact that, he's walking toward the final boss and he hasn't even drawn his swords yet, but then he amends that to the fact that Ichigo is literally geysering Ryatsu to the point where it's actually becoming a physical, tangible thing, which usually should not be possible. I don't think we've ever seen, like, with characters like Yamamoto, we've seen it, like the Ryatsu spewing off him so intensely, it literally turns into, like, its own element. Like, the Yamamoto's Ryatsu basically turned into fire after it was blowing off him so much. So I don't know if that's Kubo telling us like he's reached like a comparable level, because that's not like a normal thing. Like, we've seen characters like Yoruichi and Soifon can use Shunko, which combines Kido with Hakuda, and that makes a physical, tangible thing, but that's like a Kido technique. This is just raw energy coming off Ichigo, and it's tangible, it's visible. So, I mean, we saw him do that with the spirit threads. I know, last time spirit threads were mentioned was like, I don't know, like 500 chapters, like spirit ribbons, sorry, but it's been a long-ass time, and these are clearly not, these are not the ribbons sort of thing. These are, like, giant fucking missiles that are spewing off him, pretty much. You've grown stronger. How? How? Seriously, that's like one debate, that's one thing I had to bring up here. Like, what is the difference between Ichigo's confrontation between Yhwach back when they were in the Chrysalis Palace and now? Nothing's happened. Nothing's changed. He hasn't gotten stronger. He hasn't learned anything. He was knocked off the palace, and then they started walking back up to the palace, and it just took him a long-ass time to get there, and now they're here. I mean, maybe his resolve has improved a little bit, but his physical strength shouldn't have changed at all. And the big problem with that last confrontation they had was not that Ichigo wasn't strong enough. I mean, that was kind of part of it, but the other part was that he was being manipulated by Yhwach to, like, stab the Soul King, and, like, this Quincy Blood was fighting against him. Ichigo hasn't learned anything against that yet, so I'm like, I don't know why Yhwach is acting like, oh yeah, this is the first time we've, had a conflict with each other. You've gotten a lot strong since that time in the Soul Society. Like, no, you fought before, and it didn't work out too well. I mean, I just really, you know what I hope? I just hope Kubo doesn't pull something out of nowhere, like Ichigo is now, like, so much more powerful than Yhwach, and he just completely dominates the fight. Pretty sure that's not what's gonna happen, but, you always have to worry about these things with Kubo, you know? Ichigo brings up the fact that Yhwach is being curious on how Ichigo is going to attack him, but he shouldn't have to be curious because of his almighty power. He should be able to see into the future already. Yhwach brings up the fact that he's not using his ability at all, and he wants to really kind of just sit back and see what's going to happen. The long-awaited reunion between father and son. This is the third time you've met each other. I'd be remiss not to enjoy this savory and juicy moment. Come here, Ichigo. Sit on your poppy's lap. You're not my father! That's not true! It's impossible! Okay, got the quota. Moving on. Ah, yes, Kurosaki Isshin. Well, he was merely a surrogate father to you. I mean, I know him and your mom got it on, but that was kind of like, that was they were drunk, and, they didn't really know what was going on, and then when Isshin was passed out, I snuck into the hotel room, and, one thing led to another, and basically, shut the fuck up. Don't you dare say you're my parent. You're the man who killed my parent. Oh, wait, this is about your mom? Really? You're still on about that? What was that, like 18 years ago? It was 8 years ago. 18, same shit when you're immortal like me. Anyway, Ichigo, come on, quit being like a petulant little schoolgirl. I am not a schoolgirl! Ha, well, the internet and Rule 63 beg to differ. Damn, Ichigo, you got some nice tips. Alright, yeah, so Yhwach basically keeps going on this spiel about how he's Ichigo's father, and, that's the title of the chapter and everything, so that's, like, the relevant point that, Kubo's trying to express here. And, the first time Yhwach mentioned this, back in 514, when he first met Ichigo, back at the time when this whole, the long-awaited reunion between father and son, that would have been more apt. But, anyway, yeah, Yhwach said, "You are my son, born in the darkness." I thought he was, like, metaphorically, like, obviously Masaki and Isshin are Ichigo's parents. They bump uglies, and they Ichigo, born, this is basic biology here, but then he's like, oh no, I was really the one that was raising you this entire time. Even if you want to go, like, the metaphorical sense with it, oh, well, my blood flows within you because you're a Quincy, therefore I controlled your every move. That either makes Ichigo look out to be a puppet that has had no autonomy his entire life, everything's just been guided by Yhwach, subconsciously controlling him through his blood, or Yhwach is just full of bullshit, or he's trying to psych out Ichigo to make him, unstable during the fight. Because this whole, surrogate parent thing, Isshin. No, Isshin raised him. That's Ichigo's dad. I don't care whose blood. And, he also has Shinigami blood in him, too. Yhwach keeps going on this thing like, well, you have my blood, so that means I control you 100%. I'm like, no, you have Shinigami blood in you, too, and Hollow. And Hollow and Quincy shouldn't really mix, so the fact that you even exist is quite a miracle, really. But, yeah, I honestly think, though, that's just the whole trying to psych Ichigo out here. And Yhwach just seems like, Ichigo's getting upset over, like, breaking the cookie jar or something. Like, it's no big deal. I killed your mom. What, man? Come on. Let's go fishing, Ichigo. Come on, father and son day. I'm gonna kill you, you motherfucker! Oh, come on, Ichigo. Why'd you have to break your fancy new sheath like that? You know how long Shutara worked on that? She would be appalled. Actually, no. What's going on with Shutara right now? Huh. Sad. Well, anyway, yeah, Ichigo pulls out his long sword and charges toward Yhwach. Okay, guys, get ready. This is it. Ultimate battle between Ichigo and Yhwach. There's only one way we can open this up. Getsuga Tensho! Of course. Well, this attack is brought to you by the Society for Shit That's as Predictable as Sliced Bread. Donate today. Yeah, so here goes Getsuga Tensho. We should all be pretty sure of how this works so far. He lashes the attack directly at Yhwach, who uses his shadow abilities. Man, it's been so long since we saw Yhwach actually doing anything. It's been so long. I'm like, oh yeah, that's right, Yhwach has shadow powers. I forgot about that. Anyway, yeah, we get some pretty cool art here. It's laid out between black and white, very reminiscent of Ichigo's battle against Byakuya, the black and white, and Ichigo's battle against his Hollow. Man, Kubo really likes laying on the thick monochromatic shit, right? Anyway, yeah, so they attack each other for a little bit. The shadows push him back. Orihime uses her shield, Zanten Keshun, to block it, but Ichigo still gets knocked back. Man, I'll tell you what, guys. Doing these reviews sometimes, the most annoying parts is whenever there's a really intense battle scene, and then I gotta give you, like, a boring-ass play-by-play, Sometimes I kind of wish there was a YouTube channel where somebody would take time out of their day dedicated to just animating Bleach chapters for your own enjoyment. But, I mean, no such channel exists, obviously, so I have no idea why I'm even bitching about it right now. But, anyway, yeah, let's move on. The hell is Madness Soul? Whatever. Anyway, yeah, Ichigo gets knocked back by the shadow. He uses his swords to cut through it, and he seemingly has a path open directly toward Yhwach, but Yhwach is faster, of course. He's not even raising arms in this fight. This is how much outclassed Ichigo is. Ichigo is in full-on rage mode right now. He's like, don't you talk about my mom! And he's, like, attacking him, and Yhwach is just sitting there in the chair, just kind of slumped over, like, shadow, not good, whatever. To still be sulking over something so insignificant. A person's life was taken because there was no other choice. It is because of her sacrifice that I was maintained with sustenance, so I could give birth to you! Alright, so, I mean, it makes sense from Yhwach's perspective. I mean, at this point, he's basically God. He's the Christ figure of all Quincy's. He has all these powers. So, yeah, from Yhwach's perspective, a single human Quincy dying to supply him with sustenance, that's... Ichigo might as well be bitching about, you crushed that one ant in your yard. Like, it's nothing to Yhwach. It's absolutely nothing. Misaki is nothing. All that matters is that he maintains his existence. And he goes on to say, there's nothing to lament at all, Ichigo, because it's because of your mother's sacrifice that you were able to be born, and for there is no greater possible honor and joy in the world. Okay, what's confusing about this? It's like Yhwach saying, like, yeah, your mother's sacrifice is what led you to be born to begin with. Yhwach, I don't know if you know this, but, Ichigo was already born when you did the holy selection thing. Like, she would have died if it wasn't for Isshin and Uehara doing the soul binding thing. She would have died, and then Ichigo wouldn't have been born at all. But no, I don't know why he's saying there's no greater honor and joy in the world. Maybe he's talking about Misaki's sacrifice in general, like her being absorbed into Yhwach. That's the thing that's really... that's what's he's talking about here. It's just a little bit confusing the way I'm reading this. And he goes to launch another attack, but Yhwach just, like, bitch whips him into the side of a pillar with his shadow. Kurosaki-kun! Oh, yeah, Riveting contribution to this battle, Orihime. You keep on doing it, girl. You know, I know. She used her son Tenkeshun to help defend Ichigo, you know, up until he got bitch whipped into the side of a wall, you know, whatever. But I will bring up something I said in the last review. You know, I shit on a lot of Bleach characters sometimes. You know, like, I don't like Toshiro, I don't like Soifone, but usually I don't get a lot of backlash for them. Like, I made a joke about Soifone, like, falling to her death earlier in this review, and I can guarantee you, like, nobody's really gonna up in arms about that. Maybe, like, 1 or 2 comments, like, fuck you, Tekking, I love Soifone, but not really that much. Of course, I'm gonna get a lot now because I'm mentioning it, but, with Orihime, you know, she's that one character where people, they'll go up in arms like, you don't talk shit about Orihime, Tekking, we'll burn your house down! Or at least they're the one, Orihime is the one character that they go rage at the most. I still feel like if I was reviewing Naruto or something, I would be, you know, if I talk shit about one of those characters, I get way more hate mail. But allow me to just explain this to you guys, in case you didn't know. Most of you probably do. This is not like a non-biased thing going on here, alright? This is not like, hey, I'm gonna talk about Bleach in a completely non-biased No, it's never been like that. This is biased as fuck. You know, I'm here to talk about this, and my opinions are going to be, like, at the forefront. I really like Rukia, so I'm going to build her up every time I get it. I don't really like Orihime, so I'm probably going to make fun of her more. That's the arrangement we have here. If you don't like it, King of Lightning, for Neverworld, let's see, does Chibi do Bleach reviews? I don't know. Chibi, you should do Bleach reviews, man. Like, my point is, a lot of other reviewers that do the same thing I'm doing, Elite Ace, you know, like, just go out and do that stuff. There you go, problem solved. Now, if I was mature in this situation, I would just move on from this argument and, continue on with the chapter review, but, we all know I'm me, so therefore I'm introducing a new segment on the review show called Fucking with Orihime. Hi, Orihime. Okay, now, of course, we all know that you're in love with Ichigo, right?
Well, yeah, I guess I would say I am, but I'm not really sure he noticed.
Yeah, that's great. Did you know he fucked his boss?
What? Wait, what?
Yeah, fucked his boss. And I have the photos to prove it. Here you go. Oh, yeah, that's Ikumi, shoving Ichigo into her breasts, and, that's another scene where he's naked, taking a shower after, you know, they, you know, did the deeds. So, yeah, that's what's going on with him and his, free time. Anyway, last scene of the chapter, Yhwach's finally getting up out of his chair to deliver a firm spanking to Ichigo. Oh, but sadly our conversation must come to an end. Oh, thank God it's only going to be 1 chapter. I was really worried there was going to be like 3 chapters of nothing but monologuing before we even got to a Getsuga. Okay, good. But now then, you shall bear witness to all my wondrous glory, Ichigo. So, the shadows begin just to explode off Yhwach as the eye powers begin to take form from what he absorbed from the Soul King. And it seems like next chapter we're finally going to see what powers he has now. I mean, despite, you know, Yamamoto's Bankai, the advanced forms of all Quincy techniques, his giant bow, almighty, ability to see into the future, but now we're going to see what he can really do. Mimi-Hage subjugation, but now we're going to see what he can do with the power he absorbed from the Soul King, what his true power is really going to be. And, you know, I see Ichigo basically being completely overwhelmed by this guy. Despite all of his powers, I mean, he might go Bankai next chapter. I want to say that's like his only go because, I mean, he's in his, well, we don't even know if this is his shikai. You know, there's still that debate about, you know, what Byakuya said about there's no such thing as a constantly released zanpaktou. So, I don't know, we might find out this isn't even his shikai. That could be a good reveal, because I still think it's way too early for his Bankai, but that, like, if this is his shikai, that's the only thing he really do beyond this. I mean, he could utilize his hollow powers, but whatever. He could utilize his Quincy powers, but whatever. And, you know, Quincy powers really wouldn't work anyway, because this is Yhwach. He could probably just completely defend against them or render them useless. But anyway, yeah, most of the chapter was pretty much just talking. We didn't really get much on the front with Gerard, except for the fact that Rukia and Renji are going to join in on the fight now. And we didn't really get much between Ichigo and Yhwach, other than the fact, like, I killed your mom, and I'm your dad. And Ichigo's like, no, you're not. And that's pretty much it. And we revealed that Yhwach is, surprise, surprise, way stronger than Ichigo, to the point where he can pretty much kick his ass into a pillar just by sitting down on a chair without even moving a finger. So, yeah, that shouldn't have surprised anyone. But yeah, not a lot of interesting stuff to talk about. usually around this time in the video when I say something like that, you know, shit explodes or something, so... No? Nothing? Okay, well, it's been a while. I thought we were going to have something going on here. It's summertime now, you know, we have more free time for videos. I just thought maybe there'd be something up my sleeve, but I guess not. So, how are you guys' sex lives going? You know, the other day, me and my boss... Ah! Oh, me.